So the so-called confrontation between Xi Jinping and Justin Trudeau is splashing all across the social media and in the news. And there are so many analyses about what exactly happened. And here's one more just to clog up the entire news feed. Why am I coming out to do something that perhaps have already been over-covered? Am I the only Chinese body language expert on social media? Perhaps. So I'm going to give you some value because I understand the Chinese culture a lot better than those who are fixated with only one rhetoric. So what actually happened is Xi Jinping. Let's watch the video. Okay, so the video starts with this word called 不合适, which means it is not appropriate. He probably said something, but the news feed only started with 不合适, it's not appropriate. And Xi Jinping turns away like he has said what he needed to say and he wanted to go off. So the interpreter tells Justin Trudeau shows a lot of respect by continuing to maintain eye contact and looking towards Xi Jinping's direction. The tone of voice that Xi Jinping is talking is assertive but also cordial. Unlike the Guardian who said Xi Jinping angrily confronts Justin Trudeau, I don't think so. It is very measured.
And that's not how the way the conversation was conducted.
And he is speaking in a very assertive voice, but I can immediately tell that Xi Jinping knows that he is speaking like a big superpower. Size-wise, Canada could be about the same size as China, but in terms of its military strength, China is much bigger. And of course, Xi Jinping is a very experienced leader, leading a very huge army. Justin Trudeau is not, I wouldn't say, very inexperienced, but he's a young, good-looking chap. And, so he was speaking like a elder brother telling the younger brother, I'm not really happy with the way that you have leaked our conversation to the media. Okay, here's the part where I add value. Xi Jinping, the way Xi Jinping is saying is like, I'm not even going to waste my energy being angry. I'm going to tell you the way it is, but it sounded like he's gone through this and oh my god, again, these guys are just playing it wrongly. So he said that's not the way the conversation was conducted.
And that's not how the way the conversation was conducted.
He said, if there is sincerity, we can communicate well with mutual respect. I immediately get the impression that when he uses the word, if there is sincerity, rather than a bit more confrontational, he said, if you had sincerity. He chooses his words very carefully and said, if there is sincerity, it's like, he means the same thing. If you had sincerity, he's just, if there is sincerity. So he doesn't direct it towards Justin Trudeau, which is much more confrontational. If he did it that way, if there is sincerity, we can communicate well with mutual respect. So he drops the word sincerity and respect. In other words, let me paraphrase that. If you had sincerity and you had respect for me, that's what Xi Jinping is saying in the most non-confrontational way. Okay? Let's move on.
If there is
Otherwise, the outcome will not be so easy to tell. Let me paraphrase that. Otherwise, we're going to have an undesirable outcome. Okay? And then throughout, Xi Jinping is giving that friendly smile. I put it to you that Xi Jinping do not want to burn the bridge. He keeps the door open, but he cannot sweep this under the carpet and he cannot not show displeasure on what just happened.
Free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on.
So, I think Justin Trudeau might be a bit shaken. He opened his hands and said,
if there is
Canada, we
sincerity
believe
on
in
your part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will I continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to continue.
Frankly, I think Justin Trudeau is struggling to find something appropriate to say, and so he rebuts back. We believe in free and open and frank dialogue. I do not know exactly what he meant when he said that. Is it like that open free speech thing, or he says, yeah, we believe in free and open and frank dialogue, and that's what we come here for. What has that got to do with confronting the issue that Xi Jinping says, I am not happy that you leak out our conversation to the press? Okay, so to me, I've seen this before. Justin Trudeau just needed to respond, and he just needed to respond something, so he just say something just like diplomatically correct or diplomatically appropriate. Okay.
And that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to continue.
Okay, so when you look at Xi Jinping and his turning away, you got to take, hey, body language interest. People who are interested in body language, I'm going to share with you, okay, usually is considered rude. Okay, then you're talking to me, I'm turning away. But his facial expressions doesn't show that. Now, you understand that they are talking to an interpreter. So Xi Jinping now is not using his eyes to look at the lips of Justin Trudeau, which is usually the case when you talk to someone. Not only you hear it with your ears, you read the lips so that there will be congruency. He's using his ears, okay, so that his eyes will not distract the sound that's coming. Maybe he understands a little bit of English, or he is also turning towards his interpreter and waiting for the translation. Okay, so let's watch this. Okay, so this gives me the impression that Xi Jinping actually understands English. If you guys know Xi Jinping, verify with me, because here we go. When Justin Trudeau says,
Canada, we believe in free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will.
so the moment Justin Trudeau says, we believe in free and open and frank dialogue, and the moment that hits Xi Jinping's ears, the lips bite, right? I don't know what to say now. I don't know what I'm going to respond to you, okay? So it shows a lot of displeasure and awkwardness on the facial expression of Xi Jinping. If you watch before the interpreter could finish translating to Xi Jinping was already ready to respond.
Continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to continue.
What does it tell you? He knows a bit of English. Okay, so when he does this, 创个条件, okay, create the condition first. He's being very polite by saying, you get your act right, do it correctly, make me feel comfortable before we continue speaking. Okay, so if you ask me, my comment is this, and okay, don't bash me because I'm Chinese. I appreciate that I'm sharing with you the Chinese culture. Well, the Western side always believe in free speech, and you can do this. Chinese always treasure integrity and loyalty and sincerity and respect. In my other videos, I introduced to you this word called 面子, which is face saving. And when we do business or in a diplomatic way, being honorable and true to your words is extremely important to the Chinese. When China have a closed-door conversation with Canada, China expects Canada to keep it confidential and not to leak out to the world. So Xi Jinping is absolutely showing his displeasure that should not have taken place. I don't think he kicked a big fuss. I think the press did. But okay, if you want to come back with a negotiating heart, okay, not a confrontational one. And Xi Jinping eventually smiles and gives a handshake. Once again, I reiterate that he doesn't want to burn bridges. He's just working within what the constraints of the idiosyncrasies of the other leaders. You could even see like he's kind of limping away, don't you think so? Totally rattled. Okay, I'm not taking sides, and on my channel I don't even say like I'm siding China or whatever. But if you guys are tuned in, this is a channel where we break down the body language and to learn something and to learn about each other's culture. We're just talking about body language, and I tell you the way I see it.